Hey guys, welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. I'm glad you decided to join me here tonight. It's great to be with you, actually this afternoon, I should say. And hopefully you guys are getting lots of value from all the great programming that I'm sharing here. And if you're new here, I just want to say welcome. If you're coming back, of course, I want to say welcome back. Thank you so much for being here with me. Really do appreciate that. All right, guys, if you have not checked out believemeachieve.com, go ahead and check that out after the show. It's available 24 hours a day. And if you're thirsty, feel free to go get yourself some RO water like I have here, or a snack, another beverage, or something else. And come on back, all right? All right, let's get this show started. But first of all, the master topic of the week is the hidden rules of real success, what life doesn't tell you. And today's granular topic is this. Take the hard but honest path. Series 4, Show 35, episode number 5. Yes, we are leaving Restream. We are just making some final changes, and then we will be on to a new platform. I know a lot of you guys will notice the difference. Well, you probably will, because we won't be crashing as much. So that is the big thing. We just did a test stream with this new platform, and it didn't crash or even hiccup once. So really excited about that. All right, guys. So let's just kick right into the show. So welcome again to another episode of Inspirations for Your Life, hosted by myself, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, podcast coach, podcast host, video producer, marketing specialist, engineer, and a passionate lifelong learner. Today, I'm diving into one of the most transformational principles for life and leadership, taking the hard but honest path. In a world full of shortcuts, an easy out sometimes seems like the way to go. The decision to stay true to your values is what separates those who live with integrity from those who crumble under pressure. The honest road may not always be the easier one, okay, or the easiest, but it is always the most rewarding. And folks, I do want to reach out to you guys. For those of you that are sending us emails and wanting to get on the show, we really do appreciate that. We're going to have a formal process that you can go to the website and actually apply, because a lot of people use these automated systems to just, try to get on the show. And so we have a full process to what you need to do. So if you are, just sending us an email and hoping to get on the show, that's not going to happen. There are a few things you need to do first, and we do send you an email back with those on. So we get quite a few of those a day, and I just want to let you know that if you don't answer those, well, we will just pretty much ignore you, just because we get so many people that are just looking to get on the show. And for us, it's not a numbers game. It's quality, okay? We don't want everybody. All right, let's get right into this. Number one, hardship is guaranteed. Sadness is a choice, right? And I think when we can understand that, it makes a difference, right? Life will always throw us challenges our way. The difference is whether we let those challenges shake us or if we stay steady and grounded. Choosing steadiness builds inner strength, and of course, it builds resilience. Number two, guys, easy path versus the honest path. Of course, everyone wants the easy, but that's not always honest. The easy path might look so attractive, but it rarely leads to fulfillment. The honest path requires courage and discipline, and it's oftentimes harder, but it creates a long-term peace and set of success that you'll be happy you chose. Number three, guys, short-term pain, long-term gain. Honesty often stings, okay, in the moment, all right? But you have to realize something about it, whether admitting a mistake or facing a tough truth. But over time, the gains far outweigh the discomfort. I think that's a very important thing. Of course, nothing is easy overnight, right? Nothing is easy. I want to just be frank and tell you that right now. Number four, integrity builds, okay? Integrity builds lasting trust. People may forget your words, but they will never forget whether they can trust you. Integrity is the foundation of every strong relationship, personal or professional. So why is it so many people don't want to live with integrity? They're lazy. They're looking for that short way out. They're just looking to do something that their friends or someone else is doing, and that may not be right. And even though it's quick and you might get the gold right away, you may have to swallow your pride because you're actually going to get yourself in more trouble and you're going to damage more relationships and bridges than you ever knew were possible. Number 5, honesty reduces stress and regret. When you live honestly, you don't waste energy covering lies or managing guilt, right? I always say that if you do lie once, you have to lie again, then another, and another. And eventually you're going to forget all the lies you tell, right? Transparency frees your mind and lightens your spirit. So why not just be honest from the get-go? Number 6, discipline keeps you on track. It takes discipline to stay honest. When shortcuts appear, discipline is a muscle that strengthens your ability to choose truth, even when it's tough. All right, I know it's not easy. Number 7, small choices shape big character. It's not just the big moments that matter, guys. Every small, honest decision compounds over time, shaping the person that you know you want to become. Number 8, guys, shortcuts never, ever, ever last. Cheating your way forward may feel like progress, but it never endures anything. The hard but honest path builds something that stands the test of time. Number 9, fulfillment comes from truth. Deep joy doesn't come from faking success. It comes from knowing you achieved it the right way. Truth fuels authentic fulfillment, and that's something to realize. Number 10, pressure tests your values. When things get tough, your true values surface. Challenges reveal whether you stand firm or compromise under pressure. Number 11, guys, honest leaders inspire others. People don't follow titles, they follow trust. Leaders who choose honesty, even when it's costly, inspire loyalty and respect. I think that's important to know. Number 12, real relationships, they require honesty. Relationships thrive when trust is present. Honesty creates bonds that are strong, real, and very enduring. Number 13, admitting mistakes takes courage. Honesty is not about perfection, it's about accountability, owning your errors, building credibility, and earning respect. The more you do this, the easier it will be, and the more people will trust you. Number 14, challenges prove integrity. Every obstacle is an opportunity to show your true character. The way you handle difficulty says more than any words ever could. Number 15, respect and trust, they're earned. They're not given. They're not bought. Neither respect nor trust can be demanded upon. They are earned by living consistently with honesty. Even when no one is watching, that's when it's just as important to be honest and to be living a life full of integrity. Number 16, confidence comes from honesty. True confidence isn't fake. It comes from knowing you've walked with integrity. The assurance is unshakable and it's powerful, guys. I know that you might just want to live that easy way because, oh, it's going to be so easy, be so simple. But the truth of the matter is, you're going to have regrets. And if you could just live with integrity and honesty and take the hard but the honest path first, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like I'm true and people believe in me. I think that's hard for a lot of people to understand. I think if you're not making a big dent, people say, oh, gee, I've got to lie. I've got to make myself appear better than what I am. Like a real oxymoron, but people do it every single day until they have to pay the piper, until they get caught, until people find out that they're really not honest. Guys, here's the part of the show that I really like, where I like the whole show, but I love this part the most. So I'm going to go ahead and give you basically a personal lesson or story, one for each point today. And it's my hope, guys, that what this will do is it will inspire you to see truth, to live from truth, and to embrace where you're coming from. I think that's something that a lot of people miss because they're just trying to go for the gold. They're trying to just go for something, but they don't have integrity to live after. And I think that becomes a problem not just for you or for I, but for everyone. Everyone's path that you cross today, or everyone that you've ever affected in the past and will in the future. Because you see, the way you choose to express yourself says this is what it's about. And if you just for one moment, okay, express yourself in a manner that is not true, is not full of integrity, just for one moment, you could tarnish your reputation forever. That's sad, but it's truthful. Hardship is guaranteed. Steadiness is a choice. I remember facing a major financial setback early in my career. The bills piled up, and I could have easily cut corners or taken a shortcut to cover the gap, but instead I focused on maintaining steady progress, making tough decisions, staying within my budget, and building for the long term. It wasn't easy, but that choice to stay steady helped me to develop resilience, and years later, I could look back and see how much stronger I become through that experience. And I think that's something that a lot of people like they just don't get it. They don't understand them. And I think that's a big problem for a lot of people. All right. So start living with the understanding that you can make the difference if you choose the high road, the honest road. Easy path versus the honest path. We hear it all the time. In one of my early businesses, that was a venture of mine, I was offered an opportunity to take a shortcut that seemed too good to be true to pass up. The easy way would have meant cutting so many ethical corners, lowering quality standards, or inflating results, but I chose the honest path. It wasn't the most lucrative option at the time, but looking back, the trust I built from that decision helped me build stronger, more loyal relationships in business. The harder path is not easy, but it's the honest path. And that's definitely more rewarding. And I think when people understand they're doing something from your core value, well, that gets people excited. How many people can you trust? Fully trust? Not many. So many people can be sold or bought. I was in a podcast interview this morning with a company that does AI, and they wanted to interview me for some of my background experience. And we were talking about where AI is going. Now, I'm not going to talk about that on this show, but what I want to tell you is that I was talking about how so many people, they cut corners, how they do things that are not ethical. And by doing that, they do get ahead, but then they fall quicker than they rose. Short-term pain or discomfort will always bring you long-term gain. A few years ago, I had to make a tough decision to let go of a team member who wasn't meeting expectations. At the time, I felt like the painful thing to do was to let this person go, but in the long run, it was the right decision. The rest of the team respected the tough but honest choice I made and improved our overall performance and our morale. The short-term discomfort led to long-term growth for everyone involved. I think that's important to understand. Integrity will always build lasting trust and character. I once had a colleague in business who was often late on his deliverables. I could have let it slide, but instead I chose to confront him directly in a professional manner and say, honestly, but respectfully, and it wasn't easy, but by addressing this problem straight in front of him, I built a relationship based on trust and respect. See, that partnership turned into one of my most successful ventures because honesty laid a strong foundation. You know, a lot of times people will say to you, you know what, ask a stranger for real advice. And sometimes your friend may not want to give you what you need to hear. And that's that you're terrible or that this isn't the right way. But if you have a real friend, a real true friend, he or she will tell you that I like you, but this idea is terrible, or this isn't going anywhere. And be honest with you. Honesty reduces stress and regrets. There was a time when I was juggling multiple projects, and I found myself promising more than I could realistically deliver. I was overwhelmed with some stress and constantly worried about letting people down. This was just after I graduated college. Finally, I decided to be honest with my clients and tell them I needed to adjust deadlines. It was a tough conversation, but once I did it, the weight was lifted, guys. It was lifted. Discipline keeps you on the track, guys. I've had many moments where temptation knocked, whether it was to take a shortcut in my work or to compromise my values to gain an advantage. And what I was mentioning before about this interview, when I said to you that a lot of people can be bought, and I said, my integrity can't be. And there's one thing I don't sacrifice when it comes to technology. That's integrity. Maybe I can make a few extra bucks, but that's not worth it to me. It's worth it to be honest and to be truthful. Staying disciplined is tough at times, but whenever I did it, I've always felt stronger and more at peace with my decisions that I've chosen. Discipline is like a muscle, I've said, for me, and for everyone that I come in contact with, and I've chosen the honest path, I've gotten a little better at sticking with it. No matter how tempting the easy way seems, I never go that way. Small choices shape big character. I've learned that small, seemingly insignificant choices make a big impact on who we become. I remember one small instance where I was asked by a vendor to overlook a minor detail in a contract, something that could have saved a lot of time, but wasn't quite right. I chose to address it honestly. Even though it meant taking more time, that one small decision repeated many times over and over shaped my character and who I've become. And it strengthened my integrity over years. And thus, I've never settled for anything less than truth and integrity. Shortcuts never last, right? Whether we're talking about Wendy's and, they don't cut corners or lots of other things. I once took a shortcut in marketing, an aggressive ad campaign that misrepresented a product to get some quick sales for my company. It worked in the short term, but it didn't take long for people to see through the deception, and the damage to our reputation was far greater than any temporary gain. I've learned that now owning a marketing and video production company that you got to be truthful. You can't do clickbaity things. The hard lessons learned from that experience have stuck with me day in and day out and always will. Shortcuts might give you an immediate boost. They can never give you long-term success. It's like people that want to buy subscribers, which I never encourage. I always discourage that. Or even buying to boost your position on social media. It doesn't win. Because what happens after the ads die out? Well, your organic reach was never any good, so it doesn't go anywhere. These hard lessons are something I've learned, and I hope you will learn from them too. Fulfillment comes from truth alone. I once achieved a goal that many people would consider success, high revenue, lots of recognition, but it felt hollow. It wasn't until I was honest with myself about why I was pursuing the goal that I realized I wasn't fulfilling my true purpose and passion. When I shifted my focus from outward validation to living with authenticity, that's when I finally felt the true fulfillment that comes from honesty. Honesty doesn't always put money in your pocket right away, but it will line the basin so that you'll be able to get plenty of it later when people see the trust that you're created with. Pressure, guys, is going to test your values, so just be ready for it. I faced several situations where I was under pressure to compromise on my values, those core values. Once I was offered a lucrative deal that could have involved bending the truth just a little bit to please the client. In the heat of the moment, the pressure was intense, but I chose to stand my ground, stuck to my core values, even though it meant losing the deal. In the end, the respect I gained from staying true to my core values was worth more than any little bit of money I would have gotten. Honest leaders will always inspire others. I've learned that leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about showing others what's possible. I've been fortunate to work with some incredible leaders who led with honesty, even when it wasn't, well, the easiest path. Their integrity inspired me to step up and do the same. And I found that honest leadership has the power to transform teams, fostering loyalty and respect that goes far beyond simple tasks that people rush to complete. Real relationships, folks, they need honesty. They require honesty. I've seen firsthand that the best relationships, whether personal or professional, are built on honesty. A few years ago, I had a falling out with a close friend. Instead of letting the issue fester, we had an open conversation where mistakes and came to an understanding. It was uncomfortable at first, but that honesty repaired our bond and made it stronger than it ever was. Admitting mistakes takes time, guys, and courage. There was a time when I made a big mistake in one of my ventures. I could have hidden it easily, but I chose to admit it publicly. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I learned that owning your mistakes doesn't make you weak, it makes you stronger. By acknowledging my errors and working to correct them, I gained far more respect than I would have by pretending it never happened, pushing it under the rug. Challenges will always prove your integrity, folks. During a particularly tough year in business, I faced a mountain of challenges. At one point, everything seemed like it was falling apart, and the temptation to cut corners was, well, overwhelming. But it was in those moments that I realized that how I handled those challenges would define me forever. I held firm to my core values, even when things weren't going well. Looking back, that period tested my integrity more than anything else, but it proved that tough times are the true measure of who you really are, and people will see that day in and day out. Respect and trust, guys, they're earned. Trust isn't given, it's earned. Early in my career, I was more focused on getting ahead than building genuine relationships. But over time, I realized that truth, trust, success comes from earning the respect of those around you. By consistently living with that motto, honesty, integrity, even when it was hard, I earned the trust of my colleagues and clients when many couldn't. And that trust has been more value to me than any short-term gain that I've ever experienced. Confidence comes from honesty. I used to struggle with self-doubt, especially in my early career. I often second-guessed my decisions, afraid of making mistakes. But as I started living more authentically and making decisions based on core values, I began to feel a new sense of confidence. It wasn't the kind of confidence that came from external validation. It was the kind that comes from knowing I'm standing firm in my integrity. And when I mention integrity, people are like, well, I'll do it sometimes, or I do it most of the time, but today I'm not going to do it because, I have to get this done. This is a really important thing, or I have to take money on this. There's always some excuse to why you don't want to do it. And, if you can make an excuse for today, you'll make an excuse for tomorrow and the next day and the next week and the next month and the next quarter and the next year. Before you know it, it becomes a habitual pattern that you can't even stop. You don't even know you're doing it, so you can't even stop it. Guys, when we think about integrity and we think about trust, there's so many people that want to just take shortcuts because they feel that life's hard. And because it's hard, well, then I have a right to take a shortcut. No, you don't. That shortcut, as I said, might get you ahead of the line today and might get you to the top. But you know what it's not going to do? It's not going to keep you there very long. It's a temporary position spot. You didn't get there based on your own merits. I once knew somebody who got a job at a company because he knew somebody. The person not only vouched for that person, but said he was really great, all these things. But you know what happened when he got there? He really didn't know all those things. And he actually lied to my friend. And not only did he lose his job, but the person that recommended him, well, that reputation kind of got severed with one of the heads of the company. It's easy, folks, to say I'm going to be full of integrity one time. But to do it for a lifetime, It takes some resilience. That takes some patience. That takes some courage. And I know a lot of you that are watching this or listening to this today, and you're probably saying to me, John, but you don't know my situation. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know the hard time I've had. No, I don't. You don't know the hard time I've had. You don't know the hard time other people have had. Doesn't make it right for you to be able to just do this anytime you want. I think that's a really important thing. Thinking about integrity, thinking about taking the hard but the honest path. There's two paths. One way, you're going to make a lot of money right away. But you're going to have to sacrifice your core values. Can you sacrifice your core values to make more money and lie to people? It could be something as simple as saying that a product is really good when you know yourself the product is terrible. How many of you know that I don't really endorse products on the show? Very rarely, right? Somebody can't pay me to endorse a product. I've got to believe in that product. But so many other people can be sold. I can't. They'll send me free merchandise. I was like, I can't tell you it's good because I don't believe in it. And that's hard for some people to understand. Well, John, just be quiet and get the money and just move on. Yeah, but now you know. Can you sleep with yourself knowing that you deliberately did something to deceive someone? That's a very, very big problem. People do it in business. People do it in relationships. People do it in dating. They think that they're out for a relationship when really they're just out for a night or two. They're not full of integrity. And I'm asking you to look back at yourself and say, hey, have I been upfront with my friends, my family, my business, my clients? Have I? And if I haven't, ask yourself this question. You don't have to share it with me or anybody else. Why? I know why. Because it was the easier road. And you figured, well, I might as well just take it because I can put some fast cash in my pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations. I'll catch you guys real soon. Be well, everyone.